Racing games are a genre that, while I do enjoy, it is one of those that I rarely get to play. The closest I got to try it, it was with the typical party-style racing games. And that was mostly because I was never really good to the more traditional simulation-style kind of racing game. While I did try other styles of racing games before, the results were always mixed. Going from sweet but chaotic to so chaotic that it just becomes frustrating. With that context in mind, you can imagine my joy when I actually got hooked on a racing game, and one that actually takes me back to my childhood years when I first came across the genre. Horizon Chase Turbo, not to be confused with Horizon Zero Dawn or Forza Horizon, is an arcade racing game where you don't have to worry about power-ups, weapons, or crazy chaos. It's just pure unadulterated fun, and it may also be the greatest unofficial remake of Top Gear. This one, not this one, this one, this no, this yes. So anyway, how is the racing in this game? Well, in fact, it is pretty basic, but that is a good thing. It is you versus 19 other racers, and in order to unlock the next track, you have to make it at least 3rd place. Mechanically speaking, this game takes what its predecessor used to be and makes it even more intense. In the previous game, you had to be careful not to run out of fuel and also know when to use your nitros properly, as they make it easier for you to run out of said fuel. In this case, however, fuel goes out faster by the time you're halfway into the race, so you have to be on the lookout for fuel tokens that you can grab to replenish it. The challenge is learning where they are in each track so you don't run out on the last second and potentially lose the race. But that's not the only twist this game does to its arcade gameplay. This game has a progression system of sorts, but not the leveling kind. Each race has a set of points you must achieve. All those points get tallied together, and depending on your progress, you can unlock new cars and even upgrade races that you must win in order to unlock new features for all your cars. The second twist, and this one became my favorite pretty quickly, is that in order to 100% complete the game, you have to finish first. But that's not all. Spread around the tracks are blue tokens that give you even more points towards your progress. This means that if you want to get everything there is to get in the World Tour, you have to both get first while also collecting every token available, and also making sure you don't run out of fuel. I know for some this sounds like a frustrating thing to do, but I was completely hooked. The challenge of getting everything in a single race meant that every time I messed up, I was learning from my mistakes. I had to learn both the location of the fuel tokens, the blue tokens, and then maneuver around the other competitors. For me, this kind of challenge was both frustrating and amazing. Don't let the simpler mechanics deceive you. The early races in this game can be pretty simple, but the more you progress, the harder the other competitors become. Unlike the predecessor of this game, multiple competitors will start using their own nitros in order to gain the upper hand, so if you really want to get the super trophies, you need to worry about them on top of everything else. And believe me, these racers will start using their nitros very early on, making themselves harder to catch if you want to get that first place. Now, to make something clear, you don't really have to get the super trophies in all the races. If a track is becoming too frustrating, you can quit out and try a different card. And if that's not working out either, you can keep doing the other races until you unlock an even better car, or get more upgrades. This means that no matter how good or how bad you are doing in the game, you are constantly making progress, and you're also improving your own driving skills, which makes getting the wins and the full completion an even more satisfying endeavor. To complement all of this, the game is also pretty beautiful to look at. Of course, the graphics are nowhere near the level of your usual AAA studio, but they don't have to. In order to make a game look beautiful, you have to use your art style to its full potential, and this game manages to make this potential pretty nicely. The variety of tracks is staggering really. It does do justice to its World Tour name for the main game mode. You can go through many parts of the world and you're not really gonna get tired of the visuals. Even better, time actually passes in some of those races. You can start racing at one time of the day, then suddenly be at another halfway through. Same thing goes for the weather. One moment it's raining, the next everything's okay. Of course, it's not 100% perfect. Some tracks can be a little bit straining to the eyes, but those are only a few in between. Certainly not enough to ruin the experience completely. And as mentioned earlier, the other racers can be complete jerks, to be honest. You can have your road planned out or be in the middle of taking a curve, only for you to bump into another competitor, causing you to lose speed and eventually even the race. But after everything is said and done, World Tour is not the only game mode available. There is 2 DLCs that let you run through a new set of tracks. One is an easy mode to let you get accustomed to the gameplay, and honestly, that one was the weakest part of it for me, as by the time I played it I was already pretty deep in the harder tracks. The other DLC unlocks an entire new car and it gives you new challenges so you can unlock alternate skins for said car. It's constant replayability and I love it. There's also a tournament mode and an endurance mode. Both serve to put what you learn in World Tour to the test, with the extra challenge that you have to win every single race, at least making it 3rd place. Otherwise, you will permanently lose and will have to start over. Overall, Horizon Chase Turbo is a fantastic game. It has no story to speak of and it really doesn't have to. It's pure unadulterated arcade fun and it definitely did something right if it had a complete scrub like me hooked enough to 100% complete the main campaign. And that's why, even with some of its minor flaws, I am giving this game a well-deserved 9 out of 10. It's an underrated gem and I feel anyone who's into racing games should give this a go. Because sometimes, in order to have a great gaming experience, you don't need top-notch production values or elaborate storytelling. Just some good old-fashioned arcade gameplay can do the trick. Plus, this is one of those cases where, even if you take off the nostalgia goggles, even if you didn't even play the original game, this is a legitimately good game that deserves all the recognition it can get.